Let's talk about Dorian Thompson-Robinson and what the Browns can do to make DTR successful and what DTR needs to do to be successful. Because, of course, without Deshaun Watson the rest of the way, I don't want to put too much pressure on number 17, but a very good defense and special teams sort of hangs in the balance on the new backup quarterback. So we're going to jump into a film review. We're going to look at a bunch of things that the Browns sort of failed DTR at in his first start against the Ravens, and then places where DTR needs to improve after his one start back in week 4, because sue me, I'm not a big believer in diving into preseason tape when corners are slipping on plays and guys are wide open for easy touchdowns. That's not going to happen in the regular season. Now, if you need help sleeping at night a little bit, because I sure do, with Watson out for the rest of the year, there are some good reports coming out from boots on the ground reporters. Daryl Ryder tweeted out much cleaner for DTR today during the open portion, looked more comfortable, and the accuracy of footballs improved. Scott Petrak also added this. Offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt on DTR. Last few weeks, he's been standout good in practice. So I'm not surprised that DTR is improving from his first start against the Ravens and that he is making strides. There is a big learning curve, of course, going from playing in the Pac-12 against Washington State defenses and, well, the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I'm not going to be too much of a nitpicker when it comes to DTR's lone start. Yeah, 121 yards and 3 interceptions does not look good, but he was given 90 minutes notice. One of those picks was a Hail Mary, and I think he has bounced back well from that loss, and he's learned a lot. He's talked about how much he has grown from that first start. So with that being said, let's jump into the film review and what the Browns need to do to make DTR successful. And that is help the young guy out. Reduce the flags. If you go back to that Ravens game, the Browns had 6 offensive penalties. That is the most, or tied for the most in a single game this year by the offense. So stop doing self-inflicting wounds and help the young quarterback out by not putting you behind schedule. But let's look at some plays here, okay? This is a 3rd and 3 in the first quarter, and you can see that the Browns are running a bunch of short route concepts, right? No one's really pushing the ball down the field. They're not asking DTR to make a big 20-yard throw. Now, he is going to look he's going to look to his left the entire way here, waiting for Amari Cooper to turn his head and get out of his break. As a result, he does not notice David Njoku at the top of the screen. Has a good amount of separation from his guy, and he's probably not going to get many yards after contact. But if you throw that ball on a rope, he's going to catch it, fall back, and move the chains. That's just taking what the defense gives you. But instead, he is locked in on Amari Cooper. Now, there is a difference between being open in college football and in the NFL. And I think DTR in his first start was waiting for college open, right? Where the receiver is looking at you, waving for the ball. That's not going to happen very often in the NFL. So DTR holds on to the ball for a tick too long here, and then he decides to throw it once the linebacker is reading his eyes, crashing down on Amari Cooper. That pass gets deflected and it's intercepted, and the Ravens then go into the red zone and score on the very first play. Let's move ahead here. Later in the first quarter, Browns are down 7-0 now. They pick up a big first down because of a defensive pass interference, moves the ball to the 19-yard line. 1st and 10, and Elijah Moore takes a 20-yard loss. This is the part where the Browns need to help DTR, right? You've got a rookie quarterback making his first start, and you're taking a 20-yard loss on a rushing play. You just cannot do that. That's not on Stefanski. That's not on DTR. You just cannot fall behind schedule early on like that to the tune of 20 yards. Unfortunately for Elijah Moore in that play, there was no good opportunity. The defense was ready for it. They did not fall for any trickery, and Elijah Moore tries to get the edge, and it's not there. So he tries to go east and west, and he keeps going backwards, and he eventually falls for a 20-yard loss. Just find the hole, take what the defense gives you, and live to see another down. With DTR, you have to stay on schedule. You cannot fall back from 1st and 10 to 1st and 20 or 2nd and 13. No, you got to keep the sticks in front of you. Let's move on to another play. This one's a little bit later on in the game. And here you've got Kareem Hunt. Now, this looks like a pretty ordinary play, okay? However, this is where you miss Nick Chubb a lot, right? This is why the Browns call Nick Chubb the human eraser. Because Kareem Hunt has a pretty good-looking hole right here, right? I mean, look at it from the defense's point of view. Kareem Hunt at this stage has a good amount of blocking in front of him. He's got a 3-4 yard wide hold. However, Jedrick Wills is not going to do the greatest job of holding on to his block, so Kareem Hunt's going to ultimately get taken down by an arm tackle. This play results in a 4-yard gain. It's a first down. But again, you don't have your superstar quarterback anymore. So when you get holes like this to run through, you have to capitalize on it. You need more than 4 yards when you get these great opportunities. You just can't miss them. Now, fortunately, the Browns' ground game has improved throughout the year. I mean, Kareem Hunt is up to 6 touchdowns. Jerome Ford is averaging over 4 yards a pop. But again, when you get good holes like that, and sure, Jedrick Wills got to hold his block a little bit longer, you really have to make the defense pay. Because DTR is standing there like, guys, I don't know if we can drive down the field methodically 4 yards at a time, 4 or 5 times a game to put up enough points to win. If we get an opportunity for a big play, we got to capitalize on it. Now, we're going to look at more film in just a second, but today's show is sponsored by Game Time. You guys should not have to worry when you're trying to buy tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. Now, with the Pittsburgh Steelers coming to town on Sunday, if you want to go out there and you want to be on your absolute worst behavior in the dog pound, loud on third downs, loud on defense, well, make sure you use Game Time to get the best ticket prices out there. They are obsessed with helping you guys find ways to save money on tickets. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. So download the Game Time app and then enter that promo code BROWNSCHAT and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Now, terms apply, but of course, download the Game Time app, redeem the code BROWNSCHAT once you create an account, and download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Another spot where the Browns need to help DTR out is on the offensive line. When you look at the Week 4 PFF blocking grades, this offensive line did not play very well, right? You get good play from your highest 2 paid players in Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller, but the rest of the crew was not on their A game. However, fast forward to Week 10, where this offensive line has improved throughout the year, and even without 2 starting tackles and Geron Chrisitan and James Hudson filling in, this offensive line against the same Baltimore Ravens defense played much better. When you got a backup quarterback in, the O-line just has to know we're going to have to dig a little bit deeper. We're going to have to give him that extra second. He's not going to read defenses as quickly as Deshaun Watson did, right? He's not going to have the same amount of arm talent. He's just not going to compartmentalize, and he's not going to compute things as quickly as Watson. So the O-line, they already know this. This is true for every single team when you're dealing with a backup. You just got to find a way to dig a little bit deeper, and that's why these guys are some tough SOBs. Getting back to some film here, though, let's move on to a second quarter play. This is 2nd and 6 at Cleveland's 43-yard line out towards midfield, and this is a quick 3-step drop, empty set, and the read is already determined. You got Jerome Ford mismatched at the bottom of the field, right? You put your running back out there because you're not going to have a good coverage from a defensive player, like a linebacker filling in on him. And DTR here just unfortunately sails this throw wide. These throws are easy fixes, right? Those are the types of throws you miss because it's your first NFL start and you're getting a little bit of the jitters, right? That's not some deep, small window throw down the field, right? This is a simple, man is wide open, throw it to the boundary, and just put it on the money. You don't have to be have an absolute cannon of an arm. No, this is just about executing little things right. And I think that is what Alex Van Pelt is talking about, where he has been better at practice over the couple of weeks since this game, where back in September when he misses that throw, everyone's like, all right, we're going to bounce back. And now fast forward to today, and we're seeing him in practice make those throws routinely. And that results in a first down. Instead of punting, you keep the drive alive, and you start stacking good plays on top of each other. Another thing I want to show you guys now. Second quarter, 3rd and 6. Cleveland back at their own 29-yard line. Here, Dorian Thompson-Robinson is in that little yellow circle at the left side of your screen, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 receivers downfield. No one's open. The wide receivers need to separate more, right? The wide receivers need to help out Dorian Thompson-Robinson. If your quarterback has that much time, there's not a defender within 10 yards of him, you have got to work your way back to the football. You have got to help your young quarterback out. These are spots where the Browns need to help DTR to be successful. DTR has plenty to work on himself. We ran through those things, but there are plenty of instances in this Ravens game where everyone wants to blame Stefanski or DTR. Well, at a certain point, when your quarterback has all the time in the world, has 5 guys down the field, and no one's open, what is he supposed to do? So this is a spot where receivers know we got to run a little bit faster, right? We got to dig a little bit deeper. We need to make sure our cleats are dirty after the game because we are working our way back to the football when DTR, who is a very mobile and athletic quarterback, works his way out of the pocket, gets off schedule a little bit, extends the play, forces the defense to stay in coverage an extra 2-3 seconds. You got to punish the defense for those types of plays, not let them off the hook because no one gets open. So Amari Cooper, this part's not really for you. You're outstanding. We know that. But Elijah Moore, David Njoku, Cedric Tillman, if Marquise Goodwin is back, these guys got to step up even more. I mean, these are not bad receivers by any stretch. But once again, when you've got your backup quarterback in, the bar has to be raised for everyone. So let's show DTR some support because I'm sure right now he needs to hear it, right? He needs to know that this fan base is not just giving up on this team. They are rallying around their rookie quarterback, and he's going to lead them to the postseason. And there's a certain coach on this staff who has been with a backup quarterback that has won a Super Bowl. As crazy as it might sound, no one saw Brock Purdy doing what Brock Purdy did last year. DTR is a very skilled and talented quarterback. I think he's got a high ceiling in this league. I was blown away when the Browns found him in the 5th round. I like the selection, and now he needs to know Browns fans across the country are pulling for him. Before we get on out of here, I want to show some extra love to our watch party MVPs from Week 10, and I don't even know where to begin with Mike Dibble. Mike Dibble, what you did on Sunday was not just a generational performance. It is something that you see when you walk into the front doors of the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Mike Dibble, you are an absolute legend. You are a god amongst mortals, and we are all lucky just to be living in the same decade and breathing the same air as you. We love Mike Dibble. All-Pro goes to Chad Joseph. Chad Joseph came out of nowhere. Here's a guy who's living all the way in Hawaii, saying aloha and mohaui to every single person he sees, and the guy's just making big plays. I'm not talking about picking up first downs. I'm talking about picking up touchdowns. I'm talking about turning turnovers into points. That's Chad Joseph in a nutshell right there. The guy walks on, and he bangs 60 yards with his off foot and his eyes closed. Chad Joseph, you are a legend. I also want to give a huge shout-out to Richard Big Pa Curtis. Richard Big Dick you-know-what. I actually skipped the you-know-what part. Richard, what you did was just unthinkable. I mean, here comes Richard, a guy that no one has much preseason tape on, and you're going to come out here swinging, you know what? Unbelievable. Truly incredible performance out of you. And then Nick and Alyssa Brewskis, the Brewskis. I don't know if you guys know this, but these two guys are some of the biggest Browns fans you are ever going to come across. Nick tagged me on Twitter after the win against Baltimore, drinking a beer out of his dog's dog bowl. That's not a joke. The guy became an absolute canine. He was barking all over the neighborhood. So to Nick and Alyssa Brewski, cheers to you. And then someone that needs to get more recognition is Christopher Stofira. Christopher comes in every single week. He's a lunch pail guy. He's going to clock in before he has to. He's going to clock in after he has to. And he's going to get the job done. The guy's going to pick up tough third short down situations. He's a tush-push master. He's going to get you that extra yard. He's going to come up and make stops on 3rd and 1. Christopher, what you are doing is not unnoticed. Shout out to you for always being a legend at our watch parties. That's going to do it for us on today's show. If you enjoyed our content, subscribe. That way I know to do more of these film reviews. And hit me up on Twitter at Matthew Petey if you have not already.